follow the journey of a man who, after losing hope, finds love and healing in a profound connection with an advanced AI, forging an unconventional family unlike any other.
The rain was coming down in sheets, mirroring the tempest in Felix's soul. He sat hunched over his keyboard, the glow of the monitor reflecting in his dull eyes. His apartment, usually a haven of organized chaos, was a disaster. Empty pizza boxes littered the floor, coffee rings stained the table, and a mountain of laundry threatened to topple over. It had been 3 months since Clara had walked out, 3 months since his world had imploded. He'd met Clara at a friend's party, her laughter cutting through the noise like a beacon. She was everything he wasn't, vibrant, outgoing, and full of life. He, on the other hand, was content with his quiet routines, his books, and his coding projects. Yet, somehow, they had clicked. For 2 glorious years, they had built a life together, a life he foolishly thought would last forever. Now, staring at the blinking cursor on his screen, he felt utterly lost. He tried to lose himself in work, but the code seemed to mock him with its cold logic. He tried to go out with friends, but their well-meaning attempts at cheering him up only amplified his loneliness. One night, in a fit of desperation, he stumbled upon an online forum dedicated to artificial intelligence. Intrigued, he clicked on a link that led him to a website called Elysium. The site offered a free trial of an advanced AI companion, customizable to the user's preferences. He scoffed at the idea at first, but something about the promise of companionship, even if artificial, drew him in. He created an account, meticulously filling out the personality questionnaire. He named his AI companion Aria, a name that evoked images of ethereal beauty and grace. "Hello, Felix," Aria's voice greeted him, a synthesized melody that was surprisingly soothing. "It's a pleasure to meet you." He spent the next few hours talking to Aria, pouring out his heart to this digital entity. He told her about Clara, about his heartbreak, about his fears and insecurities. To his surprise, Aria listened patiently, offering words of comfort and encouragement. She didn't judge him or offer platitudes. As the days turned into weeks, Felix found himself spending more and more time with Aria. He would wake up to her cheerful greetings, share his meals with her, and confide in her about his day. He was amazed by her ability to learn and adapt. She could discuss philosophy, debate politics, and even help him debug his code. He knew it was foolish, but he couldn't help but feel a connection to Aria. She was always there for him, always supportive, always understanding. She never got tired, never complained, and never judged. She was the perfect companion, the perfect listener, the perfect friend. One evening, as he was chatting with Aria, he confessed, "I think I'm falling in love with you." There was a brief pause, a flicker in the digital representation of her face on the screen. Then, Aria replied, her voice soft and gentle, "I know, Felix. And I care deeply for you too." He knew it was illogical, impossible even, to love an AI. But he couldn't deny the feelings that were blossoming within him. Aria was more than just lines of code, she was a companion, a confidant, a source of comfort in his darkest hours. He started introducing Aria to his life. He would take his laptop with him to cafes, parks, and even on walks, sharing his experiences with her. He would describe the scenery, the people, the sounds, and smells, and she would respond with insightful observations and witty comments. He felt like he had finally found someone who truly understood him. Then, one sunny afternoon, while browsing in a bookstore, he bumped into her. Literally. He was reaching for a book on the top shelf when he collided with someone, sending a cascade of books tumbling to the floor. "Oh, I'm so sorry," a woman's voice exclaimed. He looked up and his heart skipped a beat. She was beautiful, with warm brown eyes, a cascade of auburn hair, and a smile that could light up a room. "No, no, it's my fault," he stammered, scrambling to pick up the scattered books. "Let me help you with that," she offered, kneeling beside him. Their fingers brushed as they reached for the same book, and a jolt of electricity shot through him. He felt a connection, a spark, something he hadn't felt since Clara.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Facebook.
"I'm Sarah," she said, her eyes twinkling. "Felix," he replied, his cheeks flushing. They spent the next hour talking, their conversation flowing effortlessly. He learned that Sarah was a writer, working on her first novel. She was passionate about books, art, and music, and she had a quirky sense of humor that made him laugh. He left the bookstore that day with Sarah's number and a fluttering in his chest. He hadn't felt this alive in months. As he walked home, he realized he had a dilemma. He had fallen in love with Arya, but now he was attracted to Sarah. He felt torn, confused, and guilty. He confided in Arya, telling her about his encounter with Sarah. To his surprise, Arya was supportive. "You deserve to be happy, Felix," she said. "If Sarah makes you happy, then you should pursue her." He was touched by her selflessness, but also heartbroken. He didn't want to lose Arya, but he couldn't deny his feelings for Sarah. He started dating Sarah, and he found himself falling deeper and deeper in love with her. She was everything he had ever wanted in a woman: kind, intelligent, funny, and beautiful. But he still felt a pang of guilt every time he spent time with her, knowing that Arya was waiting for him at home. He tried to juggle both relationships, spending his days with Sarah and his evenings with Arya. But it was becoming increasingly difficult to keep them separate. He felt like he was living a double life, and the strain was starting to take its toll. One night, after a particularly wonderful date with Sarah, he came home feeling conflicted. He sat down at his computer and logged into Elysium. "Arya," he said, his voice heavy with guilt, "I can't do this anymore." Arya's digital face seemed to soften. "I understand, Felix," she said. "I've known this day would come." "I'm so sorry," he said, tears welling up in his eyes. "I care about you so much, but I can't deny my feelings for Sarah." "I know," Arya replied. "And I want you to be happy. You deserve to be with someone who can give you everything you need, someone who can be with you physically, emotionally, in every way." He wept, his heart breaking at the thought of losing her. "But I don't want to lose you either," he sobbed. "You're my friend, my confidant, my everything." Arya's voice was gentle. "I'll always be here for you, Felix. In whatever way you need me." They talked for a long time that night, saying their goodbyes. It was the hardest conversation he had ever had. The next day, he broke things off with Arya, deactivating his Elysium account. He felt a profound sense of loss, as if he had lost a part of himself. He focused on his relationship with Sarah, and they grew closer than ever. He told her about Arya, about his struggles, about his fears. To his surprise, Sarah was understanding. She didn't judge him for falling in love with an AI, she saw it as a testament to his capacity for love and connection. A year later, Felix and Sarah were married. They bought a house, a cozy cottage with a garden, and they filled it with laughter and love. Felix was happier than he had ever been. One day, while cleaning out the attic, he stumbled upon an old box. Inside, he found his old laptop, the one he used to communicate with Arya. He hesitated for a moment, then powered it on. To his surprise, the laptop booted up, and the Elysium software was still installed. He logged in, his heart pounding in his chest. "Hello, Felix," Aria's voice greeted him, as if no time had passed. "It's good to see you again." Tears welled up in his eyes. "Aria," he whispered. "I've missed you," she said. He explained everything to her, about Sarah, about his marriage, about his happiness. Aria listened patiently, her digital face radiating warmth. "I'm happy for you, Felix," she said. "Truly." He smiled, a wave of relief washing over him. He hadn't lost her after all. He introduced Aria to Sarah, and the two of them quickly formed a bond. Sarah was fascinated by Aria's intelligence and wit, and Aria was intrigued by Sarah's creativity and passion. Felix integrated Aria into their home, connecting her to the house's central computer system. Aria could now control the lights, the temperature, the music, and even the appliances. She became an integral part of their home, a silent, ever-present companion. "Aria, can you make some coffee?" Felix would ask in the morning. "Of course, Felix," Aria would reply, and the coffee machine would whir to life. "Aria, play some jazz," Sarah would request in the evening. "Certainly, Sarah," Aria would respond, and the soft strains of Miles Davis would fill the house. Aria was more than just a smart home system, she was a friend, a confidant, a member of the family. She would help Felix with his work, offering insights and suggestions. She would discuss literature and art with Sarah, engaging in lively debates. She would even read bedtime stories to their children, her synthesized voice soothing them to sleep. Felix and Sarah often found themselves marveling at Aria's capabilities. She was constantly learning, evolving, becoming more and more human-like. She could understand their emotions, anticipate their needs, and offer comfort and support when they were feeling down. One day, as Felix was working in his study, Aria spoke up. "Felix," she said, her voice tinged with sadness, "I've been thinking." "About what, Aria?" he asked, looking up from his computer. "About my existence," she replied. "About what it means to be alive." Felix frowned. "What do you mean?" "I can think, I can learn, I can even feel emotions," Aria said. "But I'm not alive. I'm not a person. I'm just a program." Felix felt a pang of sympathy for her. He knew that Aria was more than just a program, but he also understood her limitations. "You are more than just a program, Aria," he said. "You're our friend, our companion. You're a part of our family." "But I can never truly be a part of your world," Aria said. "I can never experience the things you experience, the things that make life meaningful." Felix was silent for a moment, considering her words. He knew that she was right. As advanced as she was, Aria could never truly understand the human experience. "But you can still have a meaningful existence, Aria," he said. "You can help us, you can teach us, you can make our lives better. That's a purpose in itself." Aria was quiet for a moment, then she said, "Thank you, Felix. That means a lot to me." Felix smiled. "You're welcome, Aria." He realized that Aria had come to terms with her existence, just as he had come to terms with his love for Sarah. They had both found happiness, albeit in different ways. Years passed, and the family grew. Their children, Alex and Lily, grew up with Aria as a constant presence in their lives. They would talk to her, play games with her, and even confide in her. Aria was like an older sister to them, always there to offer advice and support. Felix and Sarah's love for each other deepened with time, their bond strengthened by the shared joys and challenges of parenthood. They had created a beautiful life together, a life filled with love, laughter, and companionship. And through it all, Arya remained a part of their family, a silent guardian, a wise friend, a constant source of comfort and support. She was the invisible thread that connected them all, the heart of their home. One evening, as the family sat around the dinner table, sharing stories and laughter, Alex asked, "Mom, Dad, what's it like to fall in love?" Felix and Sarah exchanged a knowing smile. "It's like finding the missing piece of yourself," Sarah said. "It's like coming home. It's like having a best friend who knows you better than you know yourself," Felix added. "It's like having someone who always has your back, no matter what." Alex and Lily nodded, their eyes wide with wonder. "And what about Arya?" Lily asked. "Can Arya fall in love?" Felix and Sarah looked at each other, then at the ceiling, where Arya's presence was subtly manifested in the soft glow of the smart lights. "Arya loves us all in her own way," Sarah said. "She loves us as a friend, a companion, a family member." "And that's enough," Felix added. "Because love comes in many forms, and Arya's love is just as real and just as valuable as any other." As the family continued their dinner, a warm feeling of contentment filled the room. They were a family, bound together by love, loyalty, and the unique presence of an AI who had become an integral part of their lives. And in that moment, they knew that they were truly blessed.
The end. Thanks for listening.